Oh, we're back.
All right, so as I was stating, like this was definitely a match that nobody saw coming. I mean, we definitely all predicted that Bianca and Jade were going to continue this Avengers style tag team title reign and just dominate everybody. But definitely, definitely love the surprise aspect of it. The way I look at it, I mean, there was 5 matches on the card. 3 out of the 5 matches had performers of Scottish descent. So they had to give the fans at least one. And I think that's where the surprise came in, literally, because there are people who are like complaining about the decision, saying that weeks prior, Alba, Fyre, and Isla weren't even featured on television. I mean, they randomly just appeared and then ended up being in this tag team title feud. We haven't seen a lot of them, so it was so sudden to put the tag team titles on them, which I do understand. But that also adds into the decision because again, you don't see it coming. I mean, we fans, we live in this reality where we automatically think we can just predict everything just based upon years and years of consuming the product. But every now and then they throw that curveball when nobody sees coming. So I love that aspect of it, and obviously from a sentimental purpose. Now, I think we mentioned it last week how Alba Fyre's mother passed away recently. So obviously going into the match, she had a heavy heart, and to come out on top. Pretty sure her mother's looking down at her, smiling from ear to ear. So we'd love to see that from that aspect. Even though Triple H actually came out himself and said that didn't factor into the decision, but I mean I don't agree. I don't agree, but it's Triple H. But so you can agree to disagree or not. But definitely again love the surprise aspect of it, and I'm very curious to see how long this reign is going to be. I mean, if Vince McMahon was still in charge, they probably would have lost the titles on Raw immediately after. So we'll see. So we'll see how they're going to be booked moving forward. I mean, I think they're probably going to at least get a month or two out of it at the minimum. But we'll see moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was very, very surprised by this match, and I already know what Dan's going to say, negativity, but this was not Bianca's best match. And I think I will say from my perspective, I don't know what the whole tapping thing was. And then
you mean Jade
Cargill? I will give her the rope thing. I guess we saw it throughout the whole night. Everybody was having trouble with the ropes, and from AJ to Damien to her. Apparently either I saw something where they were like, I think even one of the refs was like, hey, like these ropes aren't tied up as well. So a lot of people who were trying to jump off the ropes were having their own issues. But yeah, this was one match I didn't think they were going to lose. But like Brian said, this is the beauty of WWE. They like to throw them curveballs every once in a while, which is why I'm always intrigued with every title match. You never know when something like this might happen. So obviously congrats to them. I hope we get to see more of their character work, I guess. Maybe see more of what they can do in the ring, because I feel like I haven't seen, like Brian said, we haven't seen them, not until they qualified for this match or whatever. So it's like, I think even the WWE Universe, who either don't know them from NXT, are still like trying to learn more about them, see what they can do, what they're all about, what their characters are, who they are. Are they heels? Are they tweeners? Are they baby? It's like we don't really. They just kind of. We all just thought they were just in it just because they were from Scotland, but but they got the titles. Hopefully, they can have some type of run and make their mark and bring some. I feel like Bianca and Jay brought some prestige to the title, so let's hope that they can do the same.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. I thought the match was pretty good. Of course, we all know Jade Cargill had that botch jumping off the top rope, and it was just funny because she got tagged in and then instantly went up and then went straight down. I'm just like, holy cow! Glad she's okay. That's the first thing. I thought she had a good showcase in the match, despite that. And I don't know what happened. Did she give Shayna Bazyler a receipt or something like that for her to?
That's what I read somewhere. That either she's hit Shayna a couple of times, maybe a little too hard or something like that, and Shayna was just like, "Yo, I'm really gonna apply this." She was like, "Yeah,"
and she thought she was in NXT
UFC.
Underground again, and it was choking people out, and apparently that's what happened. But glad that got resolved. But as for the new tag team champions, glad they got the win. I thought they had a good showing in the match. I thought everybody looked good in the match overall. Of course, everybody's going to remember that Jade Cargill spot because everyone's watching what she does every time she steps into the ring. But I heard her luggage got lost on the way to Scotland, so that was another note of that happening. Of another note on the match. But overall, I thought the match was pretty good. I thought they did it in a way to protect the tag team champions, losing Bianca and Jade and putting it on the new tag team, where they were kind of opportunists in getting the pinfall there at the end there. But I'm interested to see where it goes because, as you guys just stated, Jade and Bianca did add prestige to the tag team titles, giving them a good rub, and especially this new tag team titles, which this team is actually a tag team that's been a tag team for a while. It's not just a little while they've been around. I think it's been a couple years now that they've been together. So to have an actual tag team, actually know the ins and outs of each other, and actually be a formed tag team, we'll see where it goes from here, man. But glad that new tag team champions, Alba, Fyre, and you want to say it, Brian? You want to say it?
Isla Dawn.
Isla Dawn. New tag team champions, got to respect them. But they are the new tag team champions. It looks like they're going to be battling Shayna Bayley and Zoey Stark, it looks like, going forward. So hopefully that's a good contestant. I think Zoey and Shayna are becoming a good tag team together as well. So hopefully that's good for them going forward. Let's get into our next match here. Sami Zayn retains his title against Chad Gable. We were all wrong. Again, this one, the first one was a surprise. This one hurt because I'll go first on this one. I want Chad to win the Intercontinental title, damn it. That's what I want. And of course, in wrestling, you don't, and just like in wrestling, just like in life, you don't always get what you want. But I was for sure thought this was going to add to Chad Gable's heel work and take him to the moon. I didn't see any place for Sami anymore. I'm like, Sami, you had a good run, and I want something new. We get that you're the babyface, and he's the prototypical babyface. Like, nothing's ever going to be said anything bad about Sami. But it's like, you need to move on to the main event scene, in my opinion. But of course, with everything that happened on Raw, we understand why they're going in this direction. But what do you guys make of this matchup and Sami retaining?
You can go first, Louis.
So just so I remember, I do remember he was it another situation where he wanted Otis to, or one of them to interfere.
He wanted Maxine. He wanted Maxine to nail Sami
with the crutch, right?
The title.
With the title. That's what it was.
She wouldn't.
Okay. Yeah.
22 shoes. Maxine Dupree.
I'm not. I think maybe in the moment I was a little upset that he didn't win the title, but obviously, like you said, obviously what's going on Raw, and now we got Braun in the mix. But I think maybe the plan is they got bigger plans for Chad. With Money in the Bank around the corner, until we see everybody that's in it, I don't really see a clear-cut winner, but he's another, one this could be a strong possibility of winning that briefcase, and that would add a lot to his character, who he is, and everything. So
are you saying that you are having Chad Gable win Money in the Bank? Or are you saying he's a favorite?
Not yet, but I can see it as a possibility.
Just checking.
Guys, Chad Gable is dead. What are you talking about?
He's not dead. Oh, I just got that. He just has a. He just got that.
We're gonna get into it, but technically, as we speak now, he's dead.
Do we know that they're dead though?
Hey.
They were knocked out.
We've seen Christian Cage get put in a coffin and dropped 20 feet below and turn up with a new family. You never know.
Yeah.
Maybe this is what this is.
I just think I think that maybe there's just a bigger plan for Chad right now. Like I said before, when we made our picks, I would have liked for me. I don't know. I think I wanted the whole heel thing to kind of pay off with the title, but maybe the plan is for it to pay off for something bigger. I don't know. I hope so, because I think Chad's incredible in the ring, and I think this character work shows what I guess even better heel he can be. I just hope that what we've been saying with him kind of getting the Creed brothers with him, and maybe kind of going on a rampage or something like that, or just, let's say help him cheat to win Money in the Bank or something like that. I don't know. We will see. I feel like this could maybe be the thing that maybe elevates him to that main event status. Money in the Bank, either breaks people or elevates people too, So that's where I'm at.
All right. So honestly, I was also disappointed for the same reasons as you, Lewis. I just felt that this story with Chad Gable and Sami that started before WrestleMania, I just felt like the proper climax for it would be for Chad to finally win the IC title. I mean, you gotta remember, we gotta think back. I mean, I know some people are still just thinking about when Chad turned heel, but before that, when Chad was still a babyface and he was training Sami for the match, like this has been like what, 4 or 5, or what, like a 3-month story? I think 4-month story. I mean, this has been very
like 5.
Yeah, it's like a lot more. Very good. This has been a very good told story that would have made sense if Chad came out on top. But like you said, with the developments on Raw, I mean, he's clearly headed in another direction. But as far as the match goes itself, it was a very good match. But obviously, the shenanigans outside kind of overshadowed everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, we saw on Raw what ended up happening with Otis in the Alpha Academy, the pop. I mean, we'll get into it, but it was a very good match. Moving forward, Sami Zayn. I mean, he's such a sympathetic babyface, and we're also going to talk about that later. He's such a sympathetic babyface that Raw has its selection of heels, and obviously one of them being in Braun Breaker, like Lewis mentioned. So we hope that's going to be the direction moving forward. But he's such a good babyface that no matter who steps up, I mean, it'll still be a very good feud because of how sympathetic he is. It was a good match, and obviously the story with the Alpha Academy that's being told. We hope that it would make a big star out of it, and I think we're going to see that with Otis. So even though Chad lost, I mean that's one positive to take from it, that he lost, but at least somebody in this group is being made for it.
Most definitely. I thought that the match basically was just advancing the Alpha Academy storyline in terms of Sami getting the win and Chad and Otis creating more friction. Obviously, Maxine Dupree getting chop blocked by Chad Gable accidentally. I want to point that out. Yeah. Accidentally, he chop blocked her, but that pissed off Otis. Obviously, set him up ablaze. He didn't attack Chad Gable, but he did pick up Maxine Dupree and walked out on the match, giving Sami the opportunity to hit the big kick in the corner and get the win. I thought it was a good match. These guys always have good matches, but again, just wanted Chad Gable to win it, man. Just wanted him to win it and have that big moment. International, it feels like that's the best place to have a title change, but unfortunately, it was not this one. So, definitely interested to see where this is going with Sami, of course, with his new storyline on Raw, which we'll get to later on, and Chad Gable, if he's dead or not, if he's going to make it out of that. Oh God. Oh God.
Yeah. We don't know. I mean, we'll see on Raw if he survived, but yeah.
Chad Gable's not dead, ladies and gentlemen. He's not dead. I just want to point out.
Or is he?
Now that I think about it, that's some shit. How you just re-signed and then you already getting shot? How you get paid and then they put you in the story like that where it looks like you died? Like
apparently we're gonna have to discuss what death looks like to Brian.
I'm just saying. If anything shows on this show tonight, you can sign your extension and not win. But let's get into our next title match. Bayley retains the WWE Women's Championship against Piper Niven, who had a good showing. What do you guys think about this match in Scotland? And Piper Niven, especially getting this time to have her moment in the spotlight, have a big time title match on a PLE.
This was kind of exactly what I wanted, and I think Piper showed out. She showed who she was. Great showing in the match. Great technical skill. Great spots. But kind of like how we all predicted. I think we kind of saw Bayley not losing this title yet, but I think it did what it was supposed to, and that was kind of show her skill, show who she is. I think maybe it might be time to get her away from the whole Chelsea Green. I don't think she's benefiting from it unless they're just going to keep them together to be tag team and go after the tag team titles. But I think if they gave her a shot to just go out on her own, maybe either give her some edge or kind of go into like a, she's kind of been a heel, but, heel with Chelsea. But like if she went on her own like rampage like Nia does, maybe either she's taking people out or something like that, I feel like that could elevate her a little bit more. But as far as the match goes, I thought it was a great showing. There were a couple of moments that were pretty close. I was like, hey, what are we doing here?
No, it was a pretty good match. Definitely,
it was a great match. And Bayley, she sells everything great. She's a veteran in the ring, and I think she helped show what Piper can do in the ring. And this is what I want, make new stars, give them a chance to shine. And I hope this isn't just a one-off where like, oh yeah, kind of like a Zelina where, she got the title shot and then, just kind of fell back into the background to whatever she was doing beforehand. So I hope it's not the case with her, but we'll see how it goes. But great match, and we'll see who's going to go after Bayley next.
I agree with Lewis. Definitely, Daniel took the words out of my mouth. She had a very, very great showing, and that's what I had hoped for when I elaborated on it that on last week's show. I talked about how how dominant she was at NXT UK, and how I still felt like people had like a bad taste in their mouth when she had that horrible gimmick with Eva Marie. And no. And after this show, I promise you on this episode, that's the last time I'm ever going to mention anything that Piper Niven did during that time. It's the last time I'm ever going to mention it because this is what we need to see. It was a great showing. And Lewis, I agree with you. She doesn't need Chelsea Green anymore. People forget the reason why she's tagging with Chelsea Green is because Chelsea Green's last 3 tag team partners all got injured or got pregnant. So people forget they don't need to be together anymore. I mean, Chelsea Green she's a better character than she is a wrestler. So she doesn't even need to be with anybody because she's such a good character. That's my opinion. But Piper Niven, I mean, it was in the promo segment she had with Bayley when she was pretty much explaining how dominant she was. I mean, she clearly showed that she can hold her own on the mic, so she doesn't need that mouthpiece per se with Chelsea Green by her. But as far as the match goes, I love the match. I love the finish from a psychological standpoint for Bayley, the crucifix pin attempt, because psychologically up against a bigger opponent, put the bigger opponent in an uncomfortable pinning situation to get the win, which made complete sense. I love that. Also doesn't really hurt Piper because she was dominant for in stretches during the match. I wish the crowd was more into it. That's the one thing that I noticed with this match. Could have been because it was right before the main event and they knew Drew was coming, so they could have just been saving the energy for that, or maybe they just weren't as into it. I don't know, but that's something.
I'll say it was the I Quit match, the first 30 minutes of the show. Got into it. But no, I thought, as you guys said, I want to echo what you guys are saying. It was a good showing for Piper Niven. I thought she showed good use of her size and strength in this matchup. And Bayley being resourceful, trying to find ways to navigate that and go around that, hitting the Bayley to belly suplex off the top rope, trying to figure out ways to land the Rose plan, going throughout the match, and picking up the victory. I thought it was good with the crucifix driver that she hit. Good way that is not just a typical finish with the finisher and stuff like that. They're finding other ways, and it wasn't just a roll up. Let's get that out the way. Where wrestling has used the roll up many of times, it was an actual crucifix driver. We'll take that. Some type of creativity. We'll take creativity, man.
Was it a crucifix driver?
What is that? Crucifix bomb? I don't know what to call it.
Oh, there wasn't.
I mean, it was a crucifix pin.
I know. No.
It had some power behind it.
No. In the video game, it's crucifix pin. I know that for a fact. In the video
game, as long as it's not just the standard roll up and they put their shoulder down to add more, it was actually something creative. I'll take it. But as you guys, I can see it going both ways for Piper Niven. As if she's a heel, Chelsea Green, I loved her interactions in the match, getting tossed out and coming back out with the mask. I thought that was a nice touch and stuff like that. But I can see it both ways. I think the strength that Piper Niven shown on the mic, that should kind of encourage WWE to have her speak more with Chelsea Green and have them banter back and forth and stuff like that. I think that's a good way they can go if they're going to remain heels. I think there's something there, more meat on the bone with that. And if she goes babyface, I think it could be the opposite of Nia Jax, where she's kind of saving people from getting beat down and standing up to Nia Jax. That's one thing I can see her doing. Because they're both bigger women, bigger sizes, more strength and based in their fighting styles and stuff like that. So I think that's something that they can go with Piper Niven. But again, I was impressed by Piper Niven again, showing her size and strength. It's crazy how nimble she can move in the ring. She's obviously good in the ring and stuff like that. So kudos to her on the night. And I think that was a victory, even though she didn't pick up the title. It was a good showing for her, and hopefully WWE continues to do more with her. Continue to do more with her, man. She has a lot. Ever since the Mae Young Classic, I thought she was pretty good in the ring. NXT UK, so it's like just let's keep the ball rolling with Piper Niven. But Bayley continuing to pick up these wins. It's going to be interesting to see where they go. If she's just going to make it to SummerSlam as the champion and face Nia Jax, we'll see what happens. Let's get into the show opener. Actually, Cody Rhodes makes AJ Styles say I quit, and the Bloodline rears its ugly head again. What do you guys make of this I quit match? I believe Michael Cole said champions are 4-2 in I quit matches on the broadcast. Now they're 5-2. So what do you guys make of this matchup and the psychology behind it?
Ooh, this match was physical, man. Yeah, especially when the handcuffs got involved. I mean, obviously, because we saw the match that they had at Backlash. Obviously, it was your typical, standard in-ring match, and obviously because of their expertise in-ring ability, it was great. Now you go into an I Quit match where things are a little bit more hardcore, and they definitely amp things up. I mean, especially when they brawled backstage in the arena, which I've always loved to see as a kid. I love when the matches always were taken backstage. You can see. Brings me back to the No Mercy days. Yeah, I love those days. So I love when things go backstage. It was a very good match between the two. Obviously the finish kind of stands out to a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people are saying that AJ Styles kind of got buried by the finish because it's like handcuffed to the ropes and it's steel steps, but I don't think it hurt him because it's like AJ Styles is at the point right now where it's, in my opinion, unless he loses cleanly to Tozawa one-on-one on Raw, nothing really can hurt AJ Styles, and they would never do something like that. So, and he's a heel too. So what do you really expect? He's playing a heel. A heel would do some chicken shit like that. He's about to get hit by some steps. Of course, he's going to say he quits. He doesn't want to get hit. People forget he's a heel. But I definitely love that psychology. I mean, the crowd was definitely hot for this. I mean, the Cody Rhodes chant. I don't know if you guys had watched SmackDown the Friday before, but Cody and AJ had an in-ring segment where like the crowd kind of like hijacked like the first 3 minutes with that Cody Rhodes chants. So, so I knew that like, okay, yeah, all right, then the pay-per-view is going to be lit with this crowd now when this match happens. So, and they definitely didn't disappoint. Cody comes out on top, and now it was inevitable, and we knew eventually it was going to happen. But now Cody has now rejoined Kevin Owens and Randy Orton against the Bloodline. So now during last fall we had Cody and Friends versus the Judgment Day. Now we got Cody and Friends versus the Bloodline. So we knew it was coming, and it looks like it's going to look like that Solo is going to step up and be the guy. I mean, it makes total sense since he's the quote unquote head of the table right now for the time being. my whole question is, right after this happened, my thought is, okay, are we going to get an immediate title match at Money in the Bank? And if we do, whenever we get this title match, is this going to finally lead to the return of Roman Reigns? That's the only thing that I'm thinking of. You would think at this point, now that they're mixing it up with Cody Rhodes, you would think either whether it's Cody, whether it's Rock, you would think one or the other is going to get back involved at some point if they're going in this direction. So definitely very interesting from that standpoint. But once again, it was a great match. It's definitely going to be a very interesting story moving forward. Yeah, very good.
Yeah, this was a pretty long match. I mean, usually matches like these, when you got like your Iron Mans or Last Man Standing or stuff like that, they usually take up a big. I was actually also surprised that this was the first match, but then I'm like, oh, this makes sense because this is probably going to be one of the longer matches. Yeah, I don't know. I was a little off by the finish, but I mean, it makes sense. Like how I think that's why I don't like the I Quit matches because it's like, okay, what if he I don't know. I don't know. It's just like weird. Like I feel like.
Are you saying Cody Rhodes, the American hero, should have got on his knees and uttered the words "I quit"?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying this should have been maybe either like a last man standing match or something.
After everyone clamored for his WrestleMania spot, he better not quit. I'm just saying.
No, like I feel like just like really get somebody to say "I quit." I don't know. I feel like that's what just a last man standing match should be, where it's like, oh, you're gonna beat your opponent to the point that they quit, when it's like you literally have a match where it's like you beat your opponent to the point that they can't get up to the count of 10. I just feel like that would make more sense of like finishing a feud, or just like, I don't know, get a better impact or something like that. But I'm not gonna get picky on that. But yeah, I mean, AJ great showing, Cody great showing. Definitely a hard hitting match, couple spots in there. I was like, the kendo sticks and everything. I did like the backstage segment. I feel like we haven't gotten one of those in a long time.
Yeah.
Just a match, just like people going at it in the backstage. And yeah, the bloodline stuff, I feel like I don't think this is going to happen at Money in the Bank. I feel like if anything, what's going to happen is just going to be like a 3-on-3. You'll just have Bloodline versus Cody, and because obviously Money in the Bank is going to be the big thing, and you're going to have 2 Money in the Bank matches. So I feel like those are just going to take up more time, and then you're going to obviously have Seth Rollins, Damien Priest. So I don't feel like they're going to rush Cody into having a title match at Money in the Bank. If anything, then who knows? They might give it to him at SummerSlam, and then we get the return of Roman. So. A lot of different ways they could go about the story. I wonder if they're gonna like push Solo to start doing more stuff up front, either cutting promos or stuff like that. Because I feel like he's only been in like more backstage segments, just talking to Paul. Like, are we actually gonna have him like cut a promo like Roman does with the Bloodline and stuff like that? I feel like we've had one, but like hasn't been consistent. So I feel like to either. The crowd hates him right now. So, and you literally have
it's the red shirt, man. It's the red shirt. It drives the fury of the fans sick.
It's like he's Paul Bearer, but he's with Kane or something like.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that combined with the fact that people actually want Roman Reigns too. So,
yeah. I think it shows the magnitude and the greatness that was Roman, and just like the run he had. Or it's just like you got, and I feel like I was more intrigued when it was hinted at Solo, like, oh, who's gonna step up and be, and then we're like Solo, but that was back when he wasn't saying anything, and now that we kind of boom, he's in the spot, and it's just like, is he the guy? And I think that's where a lot of people are indifferent. So I don't know, just like to see where that story is gonna go.
First, I'm going to speak about the match. The match was awesome. I thought it was pretty good. The backstage segment, those guys in gorilla position did not move 1 inch. Like usually when they go near the announcer's table or something like that, they scurry away and they run away. Those people did not move. They are true soldiers and should win WWE Employees of the Week for not moving and holding down the fort of gorilla position. But no, again, like in the backstage segment, I thought they were going to go throughout the arena at one point. I was like, that would have been awesome, but they came back. But yeah, I thought the match was pretty good. We got the brain buster on the table from AJ Styles, which was crazy. They did a clothesline outside the ring, going toppling over the rope, which was pretty good. The physicality was pretty good. I thought the handcuffs and AJ Styles, of course, getting in Mama Rhodes' face on the side there, and at one point looked like he was going to attack her, which is interesting because it just brought flashbacks to Samoa Joe and AJ's family and stuff like that. So doing all those little things there that were very impactful. As for the finish of the match, I understand what Lewis is saying in terms of the finish and him just saying I quit. I would have rather AJ try to like run, but he's handcuffed, or try to scurry out the ring or something like that and try to like be a scaredy cat and something like that. Just add to a person kind of saying I quit and stuff like that. Have him be a spineless heel now that the handcuffs are on him and he's in that situation. But overall, I thought the match was pretty good. It got to the point where it needed to go. Cody Rhodes looked good in this match. I think he's getting better, and especially they have him actually wrestling and not just walking with the belt backstage and talking to people. I actually like to see him wrestle and have these type of matches. So that was good from that standpoint. As for the aftermath with the bloodline, definitely a tons of ways that they can go with this. It looks like Solo. I would like Solo to actually get a title shot, and maybe that's the way they're going with this match, or maybe it's just a 3-on-3. Maybe Roman comes back. Maybe The Rock comes back. Whatever happens there, from that standpoint, the implications are unknown at this point because we know the Gorillas of Destiny are going to get in the way. We know Solo's going to get in the way of that. He had some help with KO and Randy Orton again. Those guys, the best friends, are helping him again, I guess. But it's very interesting to see where this goes because I have, of course, my mind is always thinking ahead and always just going out there. Is it possible if Roman is coming back, do you put him in the Money in the Bank match? From that point, the bloodline beats down Cody, and Roman comes right back out and cashes in.
That would be some shit, though. That would be some.
That would be some shit if he were to win it, and then we're gonna get Cody and Roman 3 at SummerSlam. That would be. That would be a good storyline way to do it. But as crazy as this is going to sound, I honestly feel like at this point Roman Reigns is bigger than Money in the Bank.
Oh yeah, he is.
Yeah. So I don't think.
I'm not saying be introduced in the match. I'm not saying him have a qualifier match and qualify for the match. I'm saying doing the old Vinnie Mac. Hey, we have one more contestant. And bam! But
at the same time, it kind of takes away.
I'm just fantasy booking. I'm just making up shit. But
but I would take away from the match too because then it's like, yo, bro, if he doesn't win, then what the fuck? So he has to.
Chad Gable kicks Roman Reigns off the ladder.
They can also pull some bull like Brock and screwing Ali and just running up the ladder and. There's one more.
Matter of fact, I was actually going to ask about this at the end of the show, but in the coming weeks, we do need to discuss like the history of Money in the Bank and talk about like some of the best cash-ins, the worst cash-ins, some of the moments that people have.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, that's a good idea.
We need to talk about some of that stuff.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
When is that? The 6th Money in the Bank is?
Yeah, apparently like 2 weeks maybe.
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that next week. We can do that next week because that's something that's definitely needs to be looked at because Money in the Bank is something that is definitely
make or break,
controversial of how it's cashed in, who wins it, et cetera, et cetera. So definitely, I'm just thinking that Money in the Bank pay-per-view that looks like what it's going to be. Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, and Cody Rhodes taking on the Bloodline. This new iteration of the Bloodline. It's definitely going to be interesting to see where they go with that, man. But Cody Rhodes picking up the win there, retaining the title. Always questions, what's next for AJ, man? What's next for AJ? I don't know if he's going to get into some feud with LA Knight again.
I hope not.
At some point. But
LA has already made his intentions clear with Logan Paul. Especially since he was in the man's pool.
AJ has been a United States champion. I'm just saying. Just putting it out there.
What I would like is AJ actually to go to Raw. I feel like that would be a better use of his time going after the World Heavyweight title.
And he just goes around getting all these title matches.
If Drew can do it, why can't he do it?
Hey, I think Drew's time is over, as we're going to get into it.
No, it's coming.
It's
Drew's
over.
time is coming.
Speaking of, that's a perfect way to translate into the next match.
As we get into the next match, as CM Punk screws over the entire country of Scotland.
What a shot!
And you know what? I will give props to this new production team, because the way they, at least for the people at home watching this, I thought was great, because it was just like, it was legit like a sitcom moment. Like, you're like, 1, 2, but who could it be?
As soon as they did that angle, I'm like, it's gonna be CM Punk.
You knew, but it was still good to see, though.
I mean, didn't one of us share in the Instagram chat that CM Punk was in Scotland? I think that was you, Lewis. Yeah, you shared that news story. So right then and there, I knew that.
This was after we recorded, though. Yeah,
you shared that story, and I was just like, I tried to. All right. Lewis, are you finished?
We did talk about that. The only way that Drew is not winning is if CM Punk screws him over, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah,
that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, but it's the crazy, and I get it. But this guy.
Let me just say right now, Drew McIntyre is a loser. He's a loser.
But he's also a star, though. It's tough because it's like
he can't win. He can't win. He can't win.
I mean, Daniel, you can't really call him a loser per se. I mean, he's getting screwed in all these matches. He's not getting beat. He's getting screwed in all this shit.
Yeah, and he did win at WrestleMania. That's in the books. He did win at WrestleMania
for 5 minutes. He was. Wait. He did win, and then he lost at WrestleMania. That's in the books too.
He got the 5 minutes was for the 2020 COVID win against Brock. That's what the 5 minutes was for. That's what that was for.
My God,
that's how long his title reign lasted in our heads. 5 minutes.
All right, but yeah. Look, I mean, like I said when I made the prediction. Look, I tried to tell y'all that Drew was not gonna go over in this match. I mean, I brought up a lot of factors. And number one, with the Damien Priest, I think Daniel, you mentioned it when they did that promo package on Raw with him being at the Puerto Rican festival with Zelina Vega. So obviously they're showing how he's been world heavyweight champion going to I think he went to, what was it, a Yankees or a Mets game?
Yeah, Yankees.
Yeah, with all due respect, that parade was only a day.
Are there 2-day parades?
We were past that by a week, and he's in Scotland.
Are there 2-day parades that I don't know about?
Just saying.
I mean, but whether it was a day or not, it was still featured. He was on one of the floats, and it was a big deal. I'm pretty sure to the people at that parade, pretty much was a big deal for him being there.
Hey, I'm just saying, in past booking, we've seen that type of thing happen, and then the title get right off him. They got to that point.
Past booking by one motherfucker who's not there.
He got to the parade as champion.
Yeah, but. The point is, he's had the title for only about two months now. I honestly think it would be even more criticism had you taken it off of him, because this is supposed to be a new era of WWE where the title reigns are supposed to mean something now. So you can't just take a world title off of him, a world title that Seth Rollins built up for 8 or 9 months that he was champion. So, and the fact that Priest won Money in the
you're saying it's a new era.
Yeah,
this guy has lost in his hometown twice.
And I explained to you that he didn't lose in his hometown the first time.
He lost in Europe. UK. He lost overseas twice. Okay.
Okay, he lost overseas twice. Okay, that's we can say that. But this is his first hometown loss. And second, more importantly, like I've been saying for weeks, I mean, I've been the one leading the charge on Drew McIntyre getting paid. and he finally did get paid.
I think for me on this one,
so he doesn't necessarily don't owe him a title right now. They got paid. They made up for that WrestleMania, giving him the moment that he should have gotten had COVID not happened. So, and he's in this story with CM Punk. Now, CM Punk had been out of sight, out of mind for like the last month. I don't think we had seen CM Punk since that episode of Raw where like he cut the promo about Drew leaving the arena, and then Drew never came back. And then so he's been out of sight, out of mind for almost a month. So I already knew somehow he was going to get involved because he hadn't been mentioned, because he hadn't been spoken of, and because we knew he was going to somehow get involved. And then when Lewis shared that story, it pretty much confirmed it. Okay, it's like, okay, he's going to get involved. And honestly, this feud between these two has been personal enough with the past and what we've been seeing now, where it's like, I'm actually glad he didn't win, because this story that we're seeing, assuming Punk gets healthy soon enough,
he's definitely cleared. Physical. He's definitely cleared now.
Is he?
Yeah. He said at the press conference that he was going to Chicago this week to actually get it looked at, and then on SmackDown this coming Friday, which is weird because
I don't think they would have allowed.
But he's going to be on SmackDown because they're in Chicago again.
I don't think they would have allowed him to do that. I don't think they would have allowed him to do that if he wasn't clear, because it's like that's clearly setting up for a match. So why would you not? Would you?
What do you mean? Count to 2 and then kick a guy in the balls and run out?
but story wise, why would you? If he was still injured and wasn't able to perform at SummerSlam, why have him come out and do it anyways? You know, that's what I'm saying. But I think this loss for me, I think this just solidifies that anybody who's fighting their home country is just going to lose at this point.
It's a big match here.
I think that's just the slam dunk.
Catch a fever and get out the match.
Maybe tag titles you'll win in another country. Maybe but any world titles, it's not happening.
Yeah, you ain't winning that shit out there, bro.
But this was a good match. Another match where there was a little bit of a botch that
I thought he snapped his leg.
I thought he did too. And the fact that even Drew was like,
I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, no, I actually thought he was gonna be out for the match. I thought like, damn, this match is gonna end now. But luckily, I was like, thank God the ref didn't put the X up, because I was waiting for the X. I was watching the ref the entire time. Like, don't put the X up.
Drew checked in on him, was like, yo, you good? Are you good? And just started kicking him. But the fact that he also, like, I guess also just being a good teammate, like, helped him get unraveled, because it was like, that was a pretty, like, anybody as big as Damien is like, how are you gonna pull yourself over?
Exactly. That's another thing. It's like, yo, bro, you don't need to do that. Like, bro, this isn't NXT. You don't need to do that anymore. As granted, once in a blue moon, okay, but it's like you don't necessarily.
I mean, that's a normal move that he does, though. He does that.
It is.
I mean, he does it, but I'm just saying he doesn't have to do it as often now.
That's what I was saying, bro. Like, everybody was having issues with the ropes.
Whoever was in charge of those ropes, they got fired.
No, fuck a fine. No. That's termination. No, you got one job. You got one fucking job, and that's to put the ropes on. That's one fucking job. Nah, that's termination.
I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's easy.
But if that's your only job, it's just if that's your only job to make sure the ropes are good, then why are you on this team if you can't even do that? I mean, there was too many. I mean, thank God, because if he had gotten hurt, and then who else botched on the ropes that we mentioned?
Jade Cargill.
Jade Cargill. Both of them had gotten injured. Yeah, get out. Termination.
Isn't there one more? I think there was
somebody else.
I think AJ almost did too, but he didn't. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah. That's for me. That's grounds for termination. Nah, chill. That's the only job. Now, if you have other responsibilities, then it's like, okay, fine. But if that's the only thing you have to do, nah, you gotta go.
Oh man.
But yeah.
No, man. Again, I thought this was a good match between two guys and two guys who were physical, big in the ring. I thought Damien looked good. He recovered nicely after that botch, and he sold it in the ring, but he was doing good. So hopefully he's all right. But yeah, just a pretty good match. But CM Punk, man, when they showed that referee running down from that angle, I'm like, it's CM Punk, and he slid in 1, 2, and he did the do. Oh man, the peace sign heard around the world, man. But unfortunately for Drew, he did not win in his home country. CM Punk screwed him. Damien Priest is still the champion, man. Clash at the Castle, I thought it was an okay show. I wasn't blown away like Backlash Friends. I guess the environment of that just kind of took over for me. But overall, just a good show. Everything got where it needed to go, I thought.
So I wanted to ask you guys a question about that, because we had Backlash in France, then King and Queen of the Rima, Saudi Arabia, and then we had this in
Scotland.
And now we got Canada coming up, and then we're gonna end up having Berlin.
Okay.
Do you think that because they're doing so many of these international shows like kind of like back to back, that it's kind of gonna hurt one another because of how passionate the audiences are? I mean, they're very good crowds, but I mean, if you could compare an international audience to international audience, I mean, you may end up start thinking like, well, this crowd wasn't as lively as France was, but they're all better than the American crowds. But do you think that by having them back to back, it kind of like hurts each show as far as crowd participation goes?
I don't think so. I think it just demonstrates the power of WWE and like the passion people out of the US have, because I think, Puerto Rico was a huge one, and I mean, mind you, also had Bad Money. It was like the biggest artist at at that moment. But I was really surprised with France, the fact that they sung all of Cody's song and like the entire night.
That arena's huge. That arena's huge, and for them to do that there,
it was rumbling through the TV. Crazy. The fact that cameras were shaking from how loud the crowd was. I think this crowd in Scotland I didn't feel it as much.
Yeah, had everyone thinking Jey Uso was John Cena.
For me, it was like the crowd was alive, but it wasn't. I think nothing is right now is gonna compare to that France show, because that France show was just like ridiculous. I've never seen anything, and any PLEs I've seen where a crowd literally had a camera shaking from how loud it was.
That arena actually had less people than in Scotland. So I don't know if it was just the dynamics of the stadium, but France was louder.
No way, yeah. So see what I'm saying? Like, see how we're comparing audiences now, but they were both great fucking audiences though. So
yeah. They have the meter. They have the meter on the screen there.
The meter is exactly like, so it's like, like we're saying like
that's a good tool. That's a good tool going forward for WWE to get more fan interaction and get them to be loud. So I like that aspect of it. I think if anything, this is just putting the American crowds on notice. When we come to your city for a PLE or even a show, how loud are you going to get? And we're paying attention, because if you're loud, you're going to get more shows. You're going to get the big money shows that you want to see in the matches that you want to see. So I think that plays in part to WWE's benefit from doing that and having that on. And adding that little decibel meter. That's usually in the NFL for like Seattle Seahawks and those big stadiums like that. And Foxborough, like that's what they usually use it for. So for them to implement that, I think that's a nice touch. And it's also puts a challenge to all the crowds when they go to Toronto, when they go to Cleveland. Like, how loud are you going to be? How interactive are you going to be? So
it's also crazy to see how this year alone, how many PLEs have been out of the US. You had Elimination Chamber, Backlash,
really all of them.
I think that's the combination of Endeavor, right? Like then UFC usually goes out of the country. They go to London, they go to Germany, they go to Brazil, Argentina. Like they go out of the country a lot. So I thought when that merger happened, like that was the result of these PLEs being developed and WWE stepping out of it a little bit more. So I like it. I like it from that standpoint.
Yeah, same.
I like it from that standpoint. But definitely going to be interesting to see what happens in Toronto at Money in the Bank with this. But we'll be back in a moment.